أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم ربي اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي واجعل لي وزيرا من أهلي هارون أخي اشدد به أزري واشركه في أمري كي نسبحك كثيرا ونذكرك كثيرا إنك كنت بنا بصيرا بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم حسبنا الله ونعم الوكيل حسبنا الله ونعم الوكيل حسبنا الله ونعم الوكيل. For us, God suffices, and He's the best disposer of affairs. Ameen. Wa sallallahu ala Muhammadin wa ala ahli wa sahbihi ajma'in. Walhamdulillahi rabbil alameen. Ameen. Assalamu alaikum, everyone. Happy Saturday. Thank you for being patient. Inshallah, we will jump into the topic right away. So we are studying the rays on page 619. Pretty much talking about resurrection, and we're going through evidences that we see around us to really be certain and to confirm within ourselves about what this universe points to and how really can I interpret this universe with the evidences that points to the necessity of resurrection that I see all around me. And with this, let's begin. Inshallah, is there anyone who wants to share anything from last time? Let me scan. Okay, no worries. So Bismillah, the 9th and 10th evidences and the regular excellence and careful adornment. The 9th and 10th evidences and the regular excellence and careful adornment. All the beautiful creatures which display the manifestations of an eternal beauty and loveliness, especially in the spring, on the face of the earth, for instance, the flowers, fruits, small birds and flies, and especially the, excuse me, the gilded, sparkling, flying insects. In their creation, forms and members are such a miraculous skill and precision, such a wonderful art, mastery and excellence, and all sorts of shapes and tiny machines, which show their craftsmen's wondrous proficiency, that they point decisively to a truly comprehensive knowledge, and let there be no mistake in the expression, an extremely skillful scientific innate knowledge, and testify that it is impossible that aimless chance and unconscious confused causes could interfere. While the phrase and careful decoration, while the phrase and careful decoration means that those fine artifacts are adorned in a way so agreeable, are decorated in a way so sweet, display a beauty and art so attractive that their maker could create these works only through an infinite knowledge. He knows the best manner of everything and wishes to display to conscious beings the beauty of exquisite craftsmanship and the perfection of its beauty. He knows the best manner of everything and wishes to display to conscious beings the beauty of exquisite craftsmanship and wishes to display to conscious beings, oh my goodness, I'm repeating the whole thing, sorry again, and wishes to display to conscious beings the beauty of exquisite craftsmanship and the perfection of its beauty. So the perfection of the beauty of this craftsmanship. For he creates and decorates the most insignificant flower and tiniest fly with the greatest care. He creates and decorates the most insignificant flower and tiniest fly with the greatest care, skill, and art, giving them the greatest importance. This attentive adorning and beautifying self-evidently point to a boundless and all-encompassing knowledge, and testify to the number of those beauties, to the necessary existence of of an all-knowing and beauteous maker. So I like this 9th and 10th evidence, alhamdulillah. This was a very nice refresher of pretty much, we've seen in other parts of the writings of this author how, the universe that we experience, if really pay close attention to it, we see different sort of qualities, beauty, art, skill, knowledge, and so on and so forth. But we may, A, not pay attention to it, B, may attribute it to just unconscious matter, or C, just usurp it, enjoy it without appropriating these qualities to its rightful owner. So yeah, I think this is again a very interesting evidence about a necessarily existent one that's displaying the universe in a wondrous and beautiful, knowledgeable fashion, because how else can I explain anything that I experience? The tiniest fly, it's so intricately made, designed that I may admire it during summertime. Remember those fireflies, or just a tiny butterfly, or just like a fly, a fruit fly. It's so tiny and perfectly adorned that we don't even, I don't even, most of the time connect it to its maker. So yeah, definitely, I think everything around it is just a sign, a message, bringing news about the creator of the universe. Does anybody want to add anything here? Okie dokie. Do you want to add something?
I want to add something.
You bet.
So this is the light of God.
Aha.
We're studying the verse, light of God.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And all these evidences, like last time we spoke about the divine determining how everything is there for us. We don't know about the knowledge of God. And this one about the excellence and careful adornment in the unit, everything that we see around us in the universe. So like you were saying from the example about a tiny fly, although even that tiny fly is being taken care of by the, in its adornment, the art, the way it's being shaped and given different qualities and beautifying all those things. So the host is taking a break. So if anybody would like to comment or say anything, please, you can share what your feelings are with this text. Anybody else would like to say anything?
I raised my hand, but you didn't see, I think.
Yes, didn't see. I'm just
okay. Okay.
Go ahead, Brother Ali.
What we are reading here, we usually pay attention to the existence side of the things, objects, and try to see the qualities of the creator in the objects. Now the focus is more related to the qualities of the things and emphasizing that impossible, emphasizing the impossibility of these qualities to be attributed to anything at all but a perfect knowledge and deliberate action. It's deliberately designed, deliberately decorated, skillfully scientific innate knowledge. This scientific doesn't mean what we use nowadays. Fen, it means ability to make the things in the most perfect fashion. Not what we mean, those people who, or people we also investigate the world, try to find out how it works, and then make some tools. But here is the creation is, as the text says, in fact, original says, mufannana, it means artfully designed. Not giving the existence is very important, of course. It is the base of everything. But while the one who creates this world gives giving the existence to the things, he doesn't just give the existence to the objects as they are, but we decorate it with perfect qualities, artfully designed, beautifully designed. I think this point is careful adornment is the point we have to pay to attention and understand the purpose of creation in the best way, actually. Thank you.
Jazakallah khair. That was an interesting remark, Brother Ali. Careful decoration. Yeah, it's something that we should all be zooming into more and paying more attention to the qualities that we interact with, but unconsciously we may not be noticing it. So inshallah, let's pay close attention to it, because that's very prominent. Anything, if we focus in, even like just a tiniest fly, just like Nursi mentions here, a fruit fly. I know it was a little bothersome the other day, but now I think about it, it's a messenger bringing news for me to pay close attention to it, admire its artist, and really conclude something for myself. And so I think that's what we ought to be doing, inshallah. Okay, so let's proceed with the 11th evidence. Let me just scan to see if anybody, okay, has anything to say. If not, then okay. So the 11th evidence, which comprises 5 universal evidences and proofs. Okay, so it's interesting, 5 universal evidences and proofs. The utterly perfect order, balance, and total distinction with absolute ease and the creation of things in unlimited abundance. Keyword, unlimited abundance. With absolute skill and speed, with absolute balance, to an unrestricted extent, with perfect beauty and art. To an unrestricted extent, oh yeah, with perfect beauty and art, just there's no limit to any of this, over infinite distances, with complete congruence, with unlimited intermingling, yet with complete distinction. So we notice how things are coming into existence in perfect order. We noticed how everything is perfectly balanced and how each item object that we see is really distinct in its existence, and it comes pretty much with absolute ease. And just like creation of even a plant, a flower, like I'm not doing anything, even the way it's coming into existence, it's amazing, and it's miraculous, and it's wonderful as well, with careful decoration, definitely. And things are in unlimited abundance as well. If you go to, I don't know, farm or field, you'll see so many, let's say, apple trees, so many apples out there, but they may look alike, but they're so distinct in their make. And there's definitely unlimited abundance to anything that we observe here, and over infinite distances with complete congruence. So even, I guess, we can extend our vision to the galaxy, stars, how everything is similar, symmetrical. Yeah, pretty much these different qualities, and they're intermingling, as in connected, interconnected with each other. And still we can distinguish between an orange and an apple, a fruit fly, a firefly, and other things we may name, even events that we experience and go through. Sometimes they may seem similar, like, oh my goodness, I'm experiencing the same thing again, but it's definitely a slightly different event than what we experience. So even like experiencing the weekend, experiencing weekday mornings, the feeling may be the same, but it's all distinct from past experiences. And so this evidence is another and better form of the similar lines at the end of the Arabic piece above. But because of my severe illness, it explains the 5 or 6 evidences it comprises in the form of a very brief indication only. Which one is the Arabic piece? Is it in the previous page? Wait, was there a verse shared?
Just we read is translation of the Arabic piece.
Oh, okay. Thank you. So yeah. Okay, so let's go over this again. This is another and better form of the similar lines at the end of the Arabic piece above, but because of my severe illness, it explains the 5 or 6 evidences it comprises in the form of a very brief indication only. Okay, so let's look into, firstly, throughout the earth, we see the making of wondrous living machines, some instantaneously and some in a minute or two, in orderly and measured fashion, each different from its fellows, with the greatest ease arising from a thorough knowledge and skill, all of which point to an infinite knowledge and testify that the perfection of knowledge is proportionate to the ease resulting from the skill and knowledge in the art. Okay, so we see how things are coming into existence with great ease. And definitely, if things are coming into existence, there must be like a blueprint to it. Someone must have some sort of knowledge to bringing it into existence. And so what I observe here points to the existence of an infinite knowledge. And so all this testify that the perfection of knowledge is proportionate to the ease resulting from the skill and knowledge in the art. I'm not sure what that means. Have some rough ideas, but maybe the next sentence will help us. Or perhaps it means that how how things are brought into existence, this existence of knowledge in terms of how the setup is here. For example, water is available for us, air is available for us. Otherwise, if we say basic necessity of lives, everything is available for us, the whole ecosystem, predator, prey. And this whole setup really points to a one who possesses absolute knowledge, because I see perfection in this knowledge as well, because it results in our use and benefit. And so there must be some sort of I don't want to use the word divine, but like purpose and aim towards what we experience as well. So and all this really points to the existence of absolute skill and knowledge in the art. Okay, I don't know, I'm just gonna check in if anybody wants to add some more here. Go ahead, Brother Ali.
I feel that the author is emphasizing on knowledge a lot, because all this art cannot be performed or executed without knowledge. The point is, I think, why he always refers to the quality of knowledge of the Creator. I think he wants to make sure in our mind, in the mind of the readers, that knowledge definitely requires consciousness. Consciousness definitely necessitates that there is no consciousness within this material world. So, because what we have been reading here is an extension to the spring sign that we read, it goes into the details of the acknowledgement of God, the Creator, tries to teach us his qualities, not only his existence or his detail in subtle qualities that we have to pay attention to. The last two evidences we have read today heavily emphasized on knowledge and art. Art also requires a conscious being. For example, I personally don't see this consciousness in power. This doesn't force me that I have to pay attention to the consciousness of the one who has power. But the way the power manifests itself in an artful, beautiful, purposeful way demonstrates that it is a knowledgeable one who can do every single being in the perfect beauty, artfulness, definitely tries to draw my attention to his awareness, consciousness, being a conscious being. So if consciousness is necessary then I understand through my observation of this creation, this one must be alive, present everywhere, consciously in each of the creation. So I understood the point is really trying to draw our attention to the conscious being who is aware of what he is doing completely and deliberately, perfectly aware of his actions, his creation. Thank you.
Jazakallah khair. Indeed, drawing our attention to a conscious agent behind this careful design and knowledge that I observe all around in the universe. So yeah, thank you for bringing this one up. Any comments from anybody? All right, if not, we can move on to the next piece. Secondly, perfect creations of the greatest art within the greatest profusion and multitude. Perfect creations of the greatest art within the greatest profusion and multitude point to a boundless knowledge within an infinite power and testify to their number to one who's absolutely knowing and powerful. So perfect creations of the greatest art within the greatest profusion and multitude point to a boundless knowledge within an infinite power and testify to their number to one who is absolutely knowing and powerful.
They're spread around all over. You find them.
Find what?
All these creations that shows the art
Oh.
and knowledge is yours.
Mm.
It's not like you have to go to Japan or somewhere or
Mississippi.
China or France or somewhere, but everywhere around,
Yeah.
profused all over the place.
Oh yeah, profuse. That's right.
It's like your favorite fire, whatever,
Firefly.
fruit fly or something, or firefly.
Both of them, firefly and the fruit fly.
Yeah, you don't just see, you find them everywhere. It's just where the fruit, every fruit.
Okay,
will have something.
that's true. Good one. Interesting. Thank you for pointing this out.
So every time there's a reminder coming to you,
Oh my goodness.
somebody is speaking. The firefly is speaking. Through the firefly, God is speaking actually. Through that art, God is speaking
Yeah.
as well. Whoever is in charge of the art, through the knowledge, whoever owns the knowledge is speaking.
That's crazy.
So I'm trying to link it to the verse. God is the light of the heavens and the earth.
Mm. Wow, amazing. Yeah, I like this point. Thank you for elaborating on this. So this is what this secondly point is referring to, that, wow, all of this testify to one who's absolutely knowing and powerful. Yep, subhanAllah, thank you. That was very helpful. Any comments or any thing from anybody? Okie dokie. Then we can move on to thirdly. Oh my goodness, what did I do here? Oh my God. I lost it. Wait just a second. Just give me a second, please. Thirdly, creations which are, wait, just a second, please. Sorry, okay. Thirdly, creations which are of the finest balance and measure. Creations which are of the finest balance and measure, despite being made with absolute speed. Despite being made with absolute speed, point to a boundless knowledge and testify to their number to one absolutely knowing and absolutely powerful. So creations which are of the finest balance. Okay, so we're like pretty much finely balanced. What does that mean? As in creations which are of the finest balance and measure. So we are perfectly designed, measured in our make. And despite being made with absolute speed, I wonder what that would mean. Absolute speed. So we're as in, I don't know. Maybe like I can give a number. Oh yeah, this tree's gonna grow in 5-7 years, but I can just make a prediction. I don't have absolute knowledge about speed of the growth of this tree. Point to a boundless knowledge and testify to. So come into being at an instant without delay. So coming into being at an instant without delay. Yeah, this is what we observe here. And the creation which are the finest balance and measure despite being made with coming into existence with absolute instant without delay, with absolute speed, okay. Point to a boundless knowledge and testify to their number to one absolutely knowing and absolutely powerful. I don't know, I'm trying to understand this. It's maybe you have an example. What does that mean?
So each moment of existence that we're facing or we're witnessing, how do we explain that? It's coming, is there. For example, you're looking at a fruit. At that point, that fruit at that stage is made. It exists. So it's just, I think somebody commented like, without any delay. It's be and it is. That's it. This is how the creation is happening. The way we see it, or we are experiencing it. Whatever is there is there. It exists.
So, okay, then that was good. Why are you laughing?
You looked
What?
lost.
I look lost. Now I'm trying to understand. No, this is good. No, so if I'm noticing, or like you said, the fruit, it's happening right here and then, okay.
Is given existence with the order, the balance at that moment. So the tree, let's say you're saying, okay, it's at 5 years, looks different. At 10 years, it looks a little different. 15 years, it looks different. But that each moment that you're seeing is in perfect order and balance at that moment.
Oh, I see.
So whoever brings it, makes it exist at that moment, is bringing it in with the perfect order. It shows me that everything was perfectly calculated or perfectly measured. Everything was
so it's right
perfectly
there happening.
Designed at that moment.
I see what you mean. The speech is speaking to me right here and there, but it's me. I experience some kind of time frame or time frame or delay. So I see, wait, somebody had their hand up. I'm not sure. Okay. Hey. Wait, did I see hands up? I have no idea. What are they like? Yeah, go ahead, Suhail.
Yep. So, what I understood from, kind of what Austin was saying in that, when things come into being at this very instant, there's no delay. I witness it as they're being created at this very moment. And in my witnessing or my experience of it, I notice that everything has a particular existence, their own sort of individual, unique existence. No matter what stage in its, let's say in the tree example, no matter what stage in the growth of the tree I experience that tree, it still has a particular being, definite. It's unique, and it follows a particular order, and that order is not imbalanced. It's within balance with everything else around it: the sun, the earth, the moon, the stars, the galaxies, the universe, um, everything is perfectly sort of put into being at a particular moment with a particular reality or particular identity. That doesn't take away from anything else in the universe, but is in accordance with within the order of the universe. And it happens, he says, at absolute speed. There is nothing faster than an instant. There is no delay in existence. It just happens, and I experience it. That necessarily, definitely points to one whose knowledge and power is beyond space and time. So beyond the limitations of this world. That's what I took away from this.
Okay, thank you for sharing your comment. Now I'm wondering, there's no delay that I experience in creation.
For example, if as a human being we do things,
Yeah.
let's say you're cooking something, you have to prep something beforehand. You have to. There's a process that one has to follow,
Mhm.
which is all created in the order, and it's not instantaneous but that's
Yeah.
for us
Yeah.
because we are subject to space and time. But in terms of the way things are coming at each stage of
there's no
existence,
delay.
there's no delay at all.
Gotcha. So I'm experiencing delay in result. Like, hey, this thing is gonna take 2 hours to cook. Wait a minute, let me think about this stuff. Thank you, no, thank you, alhamdulillah, thank you. This is helpful, but it's making me think a little bit. Wow. So the delay in experiencing results is from my end, but what you guys are saying is that everything is happening without delay. In reality, the existence is just, this is it. I don't want to experience this delays. Wait, because then I'm not absolute. So I gotta, from my end, I experience this whole thing, but the one that's bringing it in is not, well, I don't know, I don't want to say it's not subject to, it's just bringing it into existence. So there's no delay. I don't know.
Yeah, not subject to time and space. Yeah, you're right.
Okay, alhamdulillah. So go ahead, Sohail.
If I think about the fact that, let's say I have a seed and a sapling, both, they're in different stages. However, when you think about it, the sapling, it exists at that moment. It didn't, like, if I just come across it, it is as it is. And while my memory sort of thinks about what it was before, as it is right now, there wasn't any delay at the moment it was, or it is, to come into being, because it didn't have to be at that point. It just is, just like the seed. So there is no, I mean, while we perceive sort of growth or an end result, that's just perception, because that's our expectation about how something should progress, because of our ability to remember, or actually, in fact, to know, which is what memory is. That's to know. But if you just look at a moment in and of itself, there's nothing in the prior moment that necessitates that the sapling has to be at the next moment, and it is, and it happens to be at that very moment. From my perception, or human being perception, yeah, there is, if I'm trying to cook food, there is a perception that I need to do a certain number of steps to get to a result. But that's because I can't make the food be at the very moment I want it to be. And yet, unlike me, I unlike my own, created ability to do that, I see a tree, and it just happens to be at that very moment. Whereas it didn't have to be; it just is. If that makes sense. I don't know if it's completely clear, but in comparison, I can't just will food to be. I need ingredients, and I need to cut it and cook it, and but I can't just make the food. as I want, as it is at the very moment. It's impossible.
Thank you. Helpful. And I'm thinking now, so pretty much the food already exists, and in the near future, maybe it does. So I'm just following the order, going through a series of sequence, and they're all coming into existence. Maybe it does, it does not, I don't know, none of my business, but what I experience is just what's happening in the moment. Yeah, okay. Thank you. I'll think further on these. And wait, Ali Murmur, I don't know what this is, fast forward? You have something blue.
No, no, it was a mistake. Let me get out of it. But hi, son. There it is.
No problem. All right. Alhamdulillah, this is helpful. Definitely interesting points. Okay, let's move on. So wait a minute. So equations which are of the finest balance and measure.
So despite being absolute speed, everything is coming in balance. But as a human, we can't do that.
I cannot, of course.
If we rush something,
we
if we turn on the fire too high, it burns.
yeah.
But the way the creation is amazing. It's that the aspect is absolute speed, and yet with perfect harmony, balance, measurement.
Oh, I see what's going on now. The absolute speed points to like existence happening right here and then.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Interesting. Wait, how do I even?
So when we question, when something is, by observing something, how is that in that state of existence? Let's say you see the pigeon right there, and then you can say, how is that existing?
Yeah, how is it
It's
existing?
made right there with the balance, perfect scale art.
Interesting. Okay, this is all good stuff. So I'm supposed to be
like, wow.
This is very interesting. Thank you for sharing these thoughts and comments. So let me think about something here. Absolute speed. So pretty much if I think about the source of existence of anything, then I should be able to recognize absolute speed within it.
Each moment that we are aware of something.
Despite being made without creation, which are all the. Oh, I see what's going on, because I see all these qualities despite it being made with absolute speed, as in coming into existence. Like you were saying, the pigeon has all these art, designs, qualities. So all of this point to boundless knowledge and testify to their number, to one absolutely knowing and absolutely powerful. Alhamdulillah. Jazakallah khair. My brother, your microphone has been on. Would you like to say something? So let's move on to the fourthly. Fourthly, the making of innumerable animate beings on the broad face of the earth with the greatest craft, adornment, and beauty of art, despite their wide extent, also like you were saying, they're profused everywhere, points to an all-encompassing knowledge which, confusing nothing, sees all things together, and for which nothing is an obstacle to anything else. It testifies to that singly and altogether they are the artifacts of one knowing of all things, an absolutely powerful one. It testifies to that singly and altogether they are the artifacts of one knowing of all things, an absolutely powerful one. So all these innumerable creatures, beings that we see on the face of the globe, with all their qualities, adornment, arts, and they're being spread out throughout the universe points to an all-encompassing knowledge, which confusing nothing sees all things. So it's there's no, what do you say? Everything is coming in perfect balance and harmony. So there's no, what do you say? What's the other word? There's no imperfection or imbalance at all. Because, you know, that's what we observe here.
Nothing is an obstacle to anything.
Yeah, nothing is an obstacle to anything else. As in, rain is not an obstacle to the ocean or the plants, not or the birds, or the trees, not an obstacle to the birds. I mean, everything in creation is just wisely made. And so all this testifies to that singly and altogether, even one creature by itself and altogether are the artifacts of the one knowing of all things and absolutely powerful one. Alhamdulillah, this was interesting. But any additions or comments from anybody here? Okay, so if not, then we can move on to, do you want to say
I
something?
was just looking at sees all things together. That phrase was
Yeah.
interesting.
It is interesting, yeah.
Sees all things together.
Yeah, what does that mean? Everything is happening right here and then. It's not that the thing I'm cooking versus the thing you're cooking is not being.
So I have to pay attention to each and all the different ingredients or the different vegetables or whatever I'm picking up.
Mm,
I see them as individual elements,
yeah.
but I can see that the one who is making all these and spread them out all over the earth, who must possess the absolute knowledge, so everything is but one.
Mm. This is interesting.
It's not, I mean, although each and every one individually is taken care of,
Mm,
just like you're taken care of, I'm taken care of, and the
Patient.
pigeon is taken care of, the first fly is taken care of.
wow.
Individually, each one is taken care of.
Mm,
But how, from existence wise, as a conclusion, I can see that it's all like unity, absolute unity,
mhm,
coming from the same source.
mhm. Mashallah, good point. Well, this is good. Interpreting creation like this, just while reading this author, other than that. Subhanallah. Ali Marmar, I see your hand up. Go ahead.
I like the word individually. As Asim pointed out, everything is treated individually in an artful way. That is interesting, very interesting, because we may think that it is an how do they call it, assembly line production, I think they call it. For example, an engineer sets a machine, designs a machine, sets a machine, yes, and then machine continuously repeats to work in the same way. But we understand that not each production is individually artfully designed. The same, no special individual attention paid to each one. So that is why people want art pieces which is specifically made, not photocopied or printed out, but by the hands of the artist, himself, herself, and signed by him individually or by her individually, and this is the only piece of the art this artist has made for me. And it is really very expensive. Whereas if artist makes one art, that we understand that there is an artist and this piece of art cannot happen by itself. I understand this, but this artist might have reprinting it continuously in a printing machine, and the price will not be the same as individual making. Every individual, the people pay more money for the they say limited cars, how are they called, limited series or
Limited edition.
Limited
Edition.
edition. Yeah, it is. Limited edition means specifically made for me. Oh, man. So every being is specifically made for me. Yeah, that is how we see the art, specific art in each being. We may think that all flies are the same, but if we didn't really notice, we may think that all human beings are the same, with 2 legs, 2 hands, 1 head, 1 body, 1 head, 1 body. But we see now is getting closer to the features of every human being. Every human being is specifically, individually, artfully made. What does it mean? It's an absolute, infinite knowledge. It's interesting.
This last point, subhanAllah, that's amazing, actually. Every individual is artfully made. Think about the artist, how many billion people, creatures in the world. It's, it's mind-boggling, actually. Thank you for sharing your comment. And, okay, so let's move on. I think we can, although we started 10
It's up
minutes.
to you.
10 minutes late, so I don't know how people feel if we should stop here for today. I think we can. There's a lot to reflect on, inshallah, so we can pause here for today. Is everybody okay with that?
I mean, we haven't studied fifthly yet.
Yeah, we did not.
Next week, inshallah.
Yeah, inshallah, we can do it next Saturday.
Thank you.
Thank you. Jazakallah khair all for joining in and making your contributions very helpful. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Subhanaka la ilma lana illa ma 'allamtana innaka antal alimul hakim. Glory be unto you. We have no knowledge save except that which you've taught us. Indeed, you're all knowledgeable, all wise. Wa akhiru da'wahum alhamdulillahi rabbil alameen. Bi hurmati surah al-Fatiha. Ameen.